I'm your career specialist, but I'm filling in today for your class. And so we have the pleasure of having Niall Task, or Mr. Task, to everyone, right? How's that? He's from Big Cypress Lodge, and I'm actually going to read from his LinkedIn profile. And I think what you'll take away from it is that it's an evolution. It's not you graduate from school and you're the general manager. Okay, you have to work your way up. So he did pursue a bachelor's in hospitality administration, much like most of you. All right, he started with Hilton Worldwide, a name that most of you know. And then he went on, and he did it all, like the banquet captain role, the manager on duty role, and that's how many of you will start as well. He was an assistant food and beverage manager at Ritz-Carlton. Some of you were just exposed to that brand in another class. He had his time as a restaurant manager with Hyatt Hotels, and then went on to director of food and beverage in Chicago at Hilton Worldwide as well. So right there you can see the progression of titles and also responsibilities. Director of food and beverage after Hilton Worldwide. He went on to go to Intercontinental Hotels Group, which some of you know as well. All right, and that was also in Chicago. He became the assistant general manager at the Meritage Resort and Spa in Napa. So now you see he's gone up to another level. And then finally, a general manager at Aramark. And so we have that background because I have two once worked for Aramark, which is a huge company, and they have their hands in a lot of international business. So if you haven't heard that, that's a staple hospitality foundation that we can get. And now he is with, actually, whoops, I can't skip this. He was an area general manager and then an assistant general manager at Titanic Hotels before joining this hotel now, Big Cypress Lodge. So without any further ado,
awesome. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Let me have my.
He's like, I want that.
I might touch base on stuff in here. All right, so we are going to talk about you today, right? You guys are all hospitality students, I'm assuming here, who's going to be graduating soon. I guess the million-dollar question is why hospitality, right? It wasn't planned for me. I had two options, either a hotel management school or an interior design. And I picked the hotel management school thinking that will be the easy way out. But once I got in, it was fun because it was a lot of people who were thinking like me, so that was a lot of fun, a lot of partying back in college. But when it gets to the reality, when I did my first internship, that was kind of an eye-opener for me. I realized that I am not going to, after I graduated this fantastic school, I'm not going to start as a manager. I might end up doing a server job or a captain of a restaurant to start with, in a supervisory level, if I am lucky. If not, we're going to start from the bottom up. And that wasn't how I imagined myself, actually. So that was a really turning point for me in my career. I wasn't a very good student. Very bad, actually. But when I completed my first degree back in Turkey, that's where I'm originally from, I went back to one of my professors, and he told me the best hotel management schools are in Switzerland. Go there and get another degree that will help you and open you a lot of doors. And that's what I have done, and that helped me a lot in my first job. It got me a really, really good brand hotel, a big corporation, in a luxury segment. I always wanted to work in a luxury segment. But that was it. After the first job, really the schools goes away, all your degrees goes away. I think it becomes what you can bring it to the table after that. And it was a really long learning experience for me. I have really molded myself and my management style through over 20 years doing this. So, in a nutshell, it was definitely my first choice of, earning my living from the hospitality. I ended up by mistake, let's say, or an accident. But if I turn back and look at it, I'm very happy right now where I am at with the hospitality industry. I realized, once I got in, once I start to work in the hospitality industry, there wasn't much to do, right? Either I'm going to be successful or I'm going to fail, and then my entire life is going to be miserable. So I didn't have any other choice than to be successful. For me to be successful, thank God it wasn't studying, so it was working. Working is something that I enjoy. And when I'm working, I start to learn a lot of things from a lot of different people as well. You know, having a European background, there's a different management style there. It's very strict. When you came to United States, it's a different management style. You know, you are on the floor working with your team, and you're almost in the same level with them. But in Europe, there is a huge gap between a manager or a general manager or a director versus, let's say, a server, just to give you an example. So that was another challenging thing for me to understand the mentality and thinking process, adapt what I have learned in Switzerland or Turkey to here, and learn from here my colleagues' management style to adapt and create my own. At the end of the day, she has mentioned there's a lot of jumping in my career. So there was a two-way of going and get to the top. I wanted to become a general manager by 25 years old, which didn't happen. But that was my goal. And I was told back in the days, if you go through a food and beverage, that's the fastest way to make it a general manager. Back in the days in the industry then, because the food and beverage directors are going to be very well knowledgeable in the food cost and costing, labor cost, so they will really understand the financial aspect of the business. And they will have generally the second biggest departments in the hotels, number one being the housekeeping. They will deal with a lot of employee issues and different aspects of the business. So that's why I strategically went through the food and beverage, making sure that I have under big box hotel that we call under my belt with the high revenues that I can manage. That will prepare me and make me a strong GM. And what I have done is I wasn't very passionate. So after every 2 years in my resume, after every 2 years, if I'm not getting a promotion, I was moving into a different company. Well, there are pros and cons, just like anything else. So I didn't have a very stable life, right? Every 2 years I moved to a different state, different hotel. I personally like it. It's not for everyone. My wife doesn't like it, and my kids don't like it. But I like the fact that, you know, every 2 years or 3, whatever it is, I am going to a completely different setting. It comes with the different challenges, different personal people issues. Different leaders, different people that I meet, different aspects of the business. So that not having the same thing really excites me. So I personally enjoy moving around. Let's see. Maybe I moved too much. Maybe I could have make it to a GM. That was my ultimate goal in this industry way earlier. If I would have stick with one company. So there were a lot of people that I know, they stick with one company. You know, if let's take you guys as an example, you know, early 20s, if you will start with one of the big corporations, hotel corporations, and if you stay 20 years, so 20 plus, you know, by 35, 40, if you're a decent employee, and if you are a little dedicated, I think you should make it to a GM. So that is all that matters. Or, you know, some people also say in the industry, being in the right time, in the right place. Of course, that plays a role as well, the luck factor, but at the end of the day, again, it is what you can bring to the table. And I realized that I have got a lot of strengths as a leader, and I have got a lot of weaknesses. I think I am not very good at in my people skills, but I'm very good at in strategic planning. And I'm very good at in the business aspect of the hotel industry. So obviously, you know, as a smart, at least consider myself mediocre smart, you want to surround yourself with the people who can do those things better than you. They are not going to be a threat for you. They are going to help you. So my people skills are, I don't think I am very good at with it. I think I'm just okay. So I bring myself with managers and directors who really can engage with their team and pump them up. Who's going to drive us the results from financially? That's just a strategy, because I'm a strategic thinker. So I sit down and I plan how we're going to attack in every single thing. So I plan it well and I execute it with the people that I'm surrounded with. I think it's very important to understand yourself and your management style. It took me a while. Now, after 20 years in this industry, I'm still learning and understanding my management style. What are my pluses and what are my weaknesses? It is hard to change the weaknesses. Even I try. Some of them are. That's how you are. You're not going to be able to really change it. But at least if you are aware of that weakness, you can really control and measure yourself on that weakness. So self-awareness, I think, play another huge role for your career advancement. But at the end of the day, again, I think the passion about what you're doing is very important. That's key to my success. I can say if you are really driven by what you are doing, you are going to be automatically successful as well. And work discipline is very basic, right? But not everyone can deliver it. There were times that I needed to get up at 4 a.m. for a year long, drive 1 hour, get to the Chicago downtown and run the hotel, get back late again, and do that every day. And it's just not easy. It says you are in one of the industries. I don't think that is a very easy industry. Probably everyone in this industry will agree with me. I will never have, maybe it's going to sound negative, but it is my honest opinion, I will never have any of my kids to work in the hotel industry. It's very tough. It requires a lot of hours, it requires a lot of sweat, and it requires a lot of different knowledge of different things. Multitasking, a lot of different things that you need to bring into the table to be successful in the hotel industry. So it's definitely not easy paycheck. But it depends on what you want to do and where do you want to get to, right? I'm very competitive. When I'm running a business, I need to make sure that is being the leader in where I am running it. If it's a hotel, I want to make sure that is the top hotel in here. So I'm proud being a general manager of your only 5-star hotel in this town, based on the Expedia ratings and TripAdvisor online ratings. So it wasn't a 5-star 1 year ago after I took over. Now it's a 5-star. We've got already 2 awards. We are really doing very well, and it didn't come itself. Of course, it required me to work a lot. It required everyone else who was working with me, all my managers, to work a lot. But at the end, when you see the results, it's everything for me. When you see the end results, that makes my day, and I feel like everything pays off then. We are really proud of. We are lucky to have a great product here as our hotel. What happened to the hotel? It's gone. But I don't think a lot of people still doesn't know our hotel in here. It's only 2 years old. It is a very growing brand. Our owner is John Morris, who owns the Bass Pro brand in nationwide. This is second hotel. Number 3 is coming up, and hopefully he's going to look more, because as far as the retail business of his goes, he already became number 1 in the nation. He just bought another piece of business, which is called Cabela's. So now it's all one brand. Now we are hoping that he's going to grow his hotel business, which is very exciting. Another suggestion, speaking of that, because it is a strategy with this company for me, if you get into a company when the company is young, you can grow with it. That's very important. It doesn't need to be, it can be a hotel management company, right? There's a lot of hotel management companies out there. They are fairly new. if you get your feet in it when they are a couple of years old, 2, 3 years old, and if you start to grow with them when their portfolio grows, then your role is going to grow as well with that. So that's my strategy with this company that I'm currently in. I think the owner is going to definitely invest a lot of hotels through the nation, and I will be their go person since I am the only GM in the company right now as far as the hotel division goes. You know, I will suggest just don't take any job. When you're picking a job and a hotel, make sure the person that you are working for means something for you. You know, everyone says it is cliche. Most of the time, they develop people. They don't really deliver that, right? When it comes down to the working, you've got 8 hours. You clock in, clock out. They want you to work very hard, and they want you to go home. So not a lot of people invest on that. So make sure when you are interviewing for a position, you're also interviewing them. You're interviewing that person. Everyone says that?
Preach, yes.
But it's important. It's important. You know, I learned that later in my career. I didn't know when I was younger. It was just, for me, back in the days, it was just the title and the company. But now it's different. I understand way better. You need to make sure all these moves is going to shape up your entire life. You know, your career, how much of the money that you're going to make when you're 40, when you're 50. You know, how you're going to feed your kids, what kind of house, what kind of car you are going to drive. All those moves from when you are 20s all the way up there is going to play a role if you think about it. So it needs to be very well thought. It's not just a job. You are building a career. Building a career doesn't come overnight. It comes in a long stretch. It is a marathon to run. Don't forget, you have to be passionate. You have to be creative. You cannot do anything just like any other person who's next to me is doing. Then the results are going to be the same. You are not going to stand out in the crowd. You need to make sure that you are standing out with the things that you're doing, with the job that you are putting out. Even you know, maybe it's a detail, but it is very important for the people like me. I noticed in the kitchen who has the cleanest and the brightest chef jacket. It stands out for me. It means that that cook, that line cook, really prides himself and his job. I think it's an important nuance for me when I walk to the kitchen. So, you know, I always ask for those people. Who are they? How is their job? How is their work ethics? And make sure that you deliver all these things, you know. I make sure your shoes are even polished. Those are very important things. And I think in the hotel industry, for your bosses, your future bosses, I am sure they have attention to detail, so they are going to pay attention to those things. You need to present yourself well because it's a career for you. It's not a job. That's very important. I just want to ask you a question here, just to understand the room a better. Why are you in this? You know, why hotel? Yeah, they are so big, glamorous. It's fun to stay. They've got pools. They've got restaurants.
I'm more of a back of the house kind of guy, so I'm actually a culinary guy in the hospitality industry field.
So you like to cook?
Preferably.
How long have you been cooking?
I've been cooking since I graduated from Southwest, and actually they're speaking of Southwest, they're downstairs for a function that I would be working, but I have to attend this class.
Awesome. So you like to cook?
Yes, sir. That's it. That and other things, but
Do you watch Food Network?
no. No, I spend most of my time looking at stuff, reading other things,
You do?
eating other people's food.
That's good. So you are passionate about cooking.
Gaming, but that's a different story. I have more passions that's well rounded outside the industry than in the industry, but it's weird because I'm working in an industry that I have passions in other things.
Okay. Interesting, but I think I get it. Well, how about you? I want to understand why you're here.
I'm in it because I have a passion for the hospitality industry. all the way around as far as hotel, the catering side, cooking. Just-
Wow, you like to work like 16 hours a day?
I
When
like to-
everyone else is working 8?
I like to cook. I like to be creative in any way I can. So I'm a people person, so I like to kind of be around people.
Okay. Anyone else? You guys just don't want to be a hotelier, a restaurant owner, catering manager, sales manager? Is this just a degree? Can be.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, if that's what it is, I mean, you say it.
Please.
Like job security, isn't it like one of the biggest industries, and there's a lot of like flexibility if you get a bachelor's in hospitality, there's like when you're drunk.
Job security. Okay. IT has a job security.
The difference is
Being a doctor is a job
This
security.
is like, you just have to be nice to people, that's this whole industry, like that's just fun.
it's,
Like to be
she
nice.
don't- She don't know.
It's okay. She will learn. No, that's okay. Job security. That's good. There's a lot of options. You're right. You see, I jumped and jumped to job. So there are a lot of options. There are a lot of hotels. There's a lot of restaurants. Wherever you go, you will be able to find a job. But that's what I was trying to say. It's not easy to start. When I was back in Chicago, earlier in my career, way earlier, I was an assistant restaurant manager in one of the top restaurants in Chicago. So there's only 4 big cities who are very good in food industry in the United States. You have got New York, San Francisco, Chicago, and 3 cities, in my book at least. So number 3 restaurant, I was an assistant restaurant manager. I was making 1/4 of all my servers make, okay? So, and I was working way more than that. So, okay, here I'm gonna give you the numbers. My servers were making $100,000 a year. Well, we're talking about a very serious restaurant. And I was making $35,000 a year. And, they come and work 5 hours. I worked 12 hours. So it didn't make sense at all. But I think that was a decision for me that time, okay? They are going to make that money. But, that server who is in 30 years old, after 10 years or 15 years, is going to be older. It's going to get tougher to do his job. But on the other hand, my career is going to grow with my salary and income. And in the long run, it will be more lucrative for me being a server than a little assistant restaurant manager to start with. So you have to think like that. There are going to be situations when you work, even you are the boss, especially in a really serious big cities, your servers are going to make more than you. The people under you is going to make more than you. But it's not about money first. It's about building the career. The money is going to follow itself, and the hard work is going to pay off. Another cliche, someone told me in an interview, the hard work pays off, and I was just thinking another one. But it really is, at least for me. But I enjoy working, on the other hand, and it does pay off at some point. I don't know the timeline. For each person it can change, but at some point it comes back and pay you all your hard work. Okay, did I get 35 minutes?
No, well, I mean.
We have more?
No, anyone have questions? That's-
I'm gonna open up for the questions.
Yeah.
Radesh told me talk 35 minutes and then do a Q&A.
Yeah.
It's time for a Q&A. Let's start with this gentleman. Do you work at FedEx?
No, but mom did.
Okay.
Mom did for 27 years. 2 things. One, I want to hear about your crazy story that you happened in Turkey because I got a couple of counterparts who take a computer science class. His mom was U.S. military, and he's U.S. military in Turkey. I want to hear about some from your earlier stories from your time in Turkey.
What kind of stories?
Well,
That's interesting.
What led you to here? How does it feel now versus then when you first thought you couldn't be no good, up to no good? I heard you say you weren't a great.
Oh, as a student?
versus now.
You want my stories as a student?
Because I've not had the cleanest road to this point of like graduating.
Well, okay, I'll tell you. In Turkey, for colleges, for universities, after high school, there is a exam. Everyone needs to take that exam. It's a government exam, and
Like in Japan.
I don't know Japan. I haven't been there. But based on whatever you score, they place you to a college based on and a major. So I didn't score very well, so there was no college for me. My option was a private college that you pay, and they have got degrees for hospitality management and interior design. Interior design, you need to be talented to draw something, which I cannot do. So here, that was my only option. I went there. I failed in first year. That was a lot of fun. But then, those fun days, yes, it was great memories that I have already forgot all of them, or most of them. I was now thinking if I would have, focused on maybe improving my German, I should have focused on improving my French skills. That would have really, I could have used for the rest of my life, which I didn't. I think it comes with the age, but there should be it needs to be proportioned. There should be a time to study and really focus and be serious about what you can do for your future, and also some playtime. Is it a funny enough story?
Yeah.
They are recording. I cannot tell you anymore.
Good point. Yes, Lindsay?
What was your other question? I'm sorry.
This one actually deals with the fact that some of your sponsorships. You recently, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, I think before you took over, you had Do Perfect stay at your hotel. Were you there for that time period? Or was
I
that-
took over 9 months ago.
Oh, so you weren't there for that.
Lindsay?
Out of the 3 languages you speak, which one is your favorite?
What are those languages that I speak? I know. My favorite language, English.
Is it?
That's the best one I can speak. My other ones are not that good. English is easier. I mean, and it is way easier than the other ones. And I practice English a lot. My kids can only speak English as well as my wife. So English has been definitely my favorite. Okay, so this is where I work, guys. It's very unique. This is the most unique hotel I have worked out of 12. Very, very interesting. Yes?
Who takes care of y'all's alligators?
Actually, okay, so here is a structure. There's a food and beverage division, there's a hotel division, and there's a retail division. Retail has departments underneath, and for alligators, there is a aqua department.
Oh.
Those are, marine biologists who deals with all the species and fishes in there, including alligators.
So that's like a whole, you don't deal with that?
Me?
No.
He trying to change.
No, I got no clue. I am only, so the retail part of the business as a general manager for retail, I'm only overseeing the hotel as well as all the food and beverage. We got 2 restaurants, banquets, room service, lobby bar. We are opening a terrace bar this spring, which is going to be really interesting. That's going to be really neat for this town. It's going to be better than Peabody's terrace or the Madison's as well. It's coming. That will be my last addition to that hotel. What else we have? Any other questions? Was it that boring? No questions here?
I actually have a question about, when you think about your career evolution, how important was just staying connected to different groups and associations to get that next position?
Oh, that's a great question. I did a horrible job, but I have seen results. I have seen other people really using and working those connections. Unfortunately, guys, I ended up using my connections only when I am in trouble. There were times, that yes, I'm very successful, but don't forget, when you get to a certain level, it is easy for you to lose your job. So I have lost my job before. That is when I use those connections. It is definitely, I wouldn't suggest, I think you should definitely keep them live, and because you don't know what those connections can even bring you even when you're employed, right? It's not just when you need them. I didn't do a very good job, so that is what I am doing right now, trying to get more involved to the hotel organizations, especially in Memphis. But that plays a very crucial role. You know, even very simple, I think, email, just celebrating that person's 4th of July. Just to put your name out there, any possibility that you can. That's another strategic move that we were talking about, that you should do it.
I have one more question. You advise students to be willing to join younger companies, but what are some of the risks that you have to be aware of with joining a younger company?
Oh, wow, very good question. Another one. Okay, so the younger company, risk and rewards will be you can move up faster, you can grow with the company. The risks will be your position can be eliminated very easily. The company, if you're, let's say you're a GM of a limited service hotel, they can lose that flag, they decided to let that hotel go, then you lose your job. So, there's job security, yes and no. You know, when you get to the certain levels, honestly, the job security is not there. Depends. That's why I started, you know, if you stick with a company, if you want to play safe, you know, if you put 20 years, you guys are young, if you work 15, 20 years for that company, that's when your job security is. But good question. Yes, those companies are risky. But for me, the hospitality business is a risk. You know, you've got to take risks, especially as a businessman, as an entrepreneur. You gotta take risks, and starting within a younger company is a risk. As long as you can explain for your next employer why you don't have a job now, I think it is justifiable. Any other questions? Oh, I thought I'm going to get like at least 20.
They won't let me keep going.
No.
This is it? Early dinner time, yes.
Why did you choose the States?
United States? Do you know? Yes, good question too. After Switzerland, I had an opportunity for 1.5 years to come to US in Atlanta, work there and do a internship, management internship for 18 months. That was the main reason is I wanted to see, because I already learned and understand what the hotel management and hotel business in Europe. So I wanted to see the US side of it. It's a different continent. And even in Asia, it is different. So that was the whole purpose for me to come do 18 months and then go back. But during that 18 months, I got married. So here I am after like 15, 18 years. So I stayed.
Do you want to go back eventually?
I did go back. Who asked that question? I did go back last year. A year and a half ago, we moved back. I took a fantastic hotel. Amazing, amazing. I think that might be one of the top hotel I have ever worked. But my wife and the kids, they couldn't adapt to new culture, new city. It's not easy. After 8 months, we came back. So, in the hospitality industry, you gotta be open for relocating if you wanna move up fast. Okay? It's not a stable lifestyle. You've got to work long hours and not complain about it. Enjoy every single moment of it. You've got to stay on your feet a lot. You've got to be visible. You've got to be happy. And you cannot be in a bad mood. And you have to be very intelligent and smart. And you have to understand the financials. You have to understand how to make money, how to market your product, how to advertise, how to manage people. You have to do everything. So this is the field that you pick, and you can be successful if you have what it takes.
It's a industry that not everyone lasts in, and we're not saying that because we're trying to scare you away from it. Even I took a hiatus from the industry, and then I gravitated back to it. But it's a tough industry to. It takes a certain personality type to have that endurance, if you will. So you're right.
I agree.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure, guys. It was fun. Thank you. Oh, I forgot. I've got open positions in my hotel and restaurants. I need talented people like you. I'll welcome you if you're interested. We have servers, bussers, cooks, you name it, I have it. Front desk agents, concierge, housekeepers. Don't forget, nobody's gonna give you an opportunity as an assistant manager yet if you don't have anything in your resume. You need to start it somewhere. So make sure you get a job that you can get promoted, get up there fast. And that's your opportunity. My hotel and my business have that opportunity for you. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any business cards on you?
Business cards, yes. I came prepared because I thought you would ask. I do, I'll give it to you.
So if one is interested in one of your opportunities, is there a site that they have to go to, or are you advising these students to go directly to you?
You guys can just email me and then I will direct you from there. How's that sound? Yes, any other question?
Have you thought about attending our career fair on the 15th?
We are strongly considering it, yes. Absolutely.
So just so you know, he had very honest feedback. When I said, I asked the question earlier, and he said that the student turnout in the past, when he first came, well, when Big Cypress, was there, wasn't good enough to warrant their return. And so student turnout makes a big difference for an employer to stay engaged with our schools. So you guys have to show up to the events, and that's how it works.
That's true. Yes, we need applicants though. I think you can learn a lot, especially in Big Cypress and food and beverage department as well as the hotel. It's a boutique hotel. It has got very high service standards that you will understand what the real luxury hotel means. From a food and beverage standpoint, you will understand what the high volume and again the very high standard is. Because I manage it, I'm there 24/7, and we have got different level of service in all over that place. So I think that will be a good opportunity for you. Good deal.
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much, guys.